This is a Hallicrafters SX-18, and I've just been working on this for a week or so. Recapped it. The owner didn't want the old caps restuffed, so they just new yellow caps in there, new electrolytics in the power supply, and there. A few resistors replaced. I think I replaced 5 or 6 resistors. And several tubes. The tubes are pretty bad. I think there's only 2 tubes I managed to reuse. Giving it a good clean, and it's now looking pretty smart. Top of the chassis looks pretty good, and just been realigning it. It's actually aligned pretty well. It's not too sensitive on the highest band, which goes up to 38 megahertz, but the other bands are pretty good, and certainly on the regular shortwave bands and the broadcast band it's pretty sensitive. I made some notes. It'll actually receive an AM signal down to about 2.5 microvolts, still audible voice at that sort of signal level, which is pretty good for a receiver like this. But it'll detect CW to less than 1 microvolt, certainly on the first 4 bands. And it's starting to get a little bit weak towards the top end of band 4. And then on band 5, which is 17 megs to 38 megs. Sorry, yeah, something like that. Sorry, 15 megs to 38 megs. At the top end of that band, it's really sort of 12 to 20 microvolts sensitivity for AM, and about 5 microvolts for CW, which, isn't too bad. Anyway, certainly for the usable part of that band, it's quite sensitive. All the controls functioning well. They've all been cleaned. It's actually tuned to broadcast band at the moment on band 1. Broadcast band split between bands 1 and 2. It's got a few feet of wire on as an antenna, that's all. And it's monitoring the local oscillator frequency on the tiny SA there. So you can see as I tune it, it's sweeping upwards. One thing that is surprising about this receiver, I'm monitoring the AGC line on this vacuum tube voltmeter over here. It's set on the 50 volts DC range at the moment. So on this fairly strong local station, we're getting 34 volts of AGC, which is remarkable. I mean, normally if you get in 15 to 20 volts, that's pretty good, and a lot of sets won't produce any more than about 10 or 12. So, and it's not amplified AGC, it's just regular AGC.
I'm picking music. I pulled one of them. Do you know who I am, Andrew? I'm picking the music. And I think Andrew's upset. Wayward Son. Again.
Crystal works well, DFO works well, tone control works well, RF gain control works well. I did puzzle for a while at the top end of the RF gain control as a switch, what that switch actually did, and tracing the wiring, it's actually for an S-meter connection, which is this socket at the back. You can buy an S-meter for it. I think it was something like an SM-18 or something like that. Very simple circuit for an S-meter that works off the screen voltage of the IF stages. And that switch just couples the screen voltage to that socket or not. So whether or not you've got an S-meter on, you can choose to switch it like that. I found this sort of strange rejector circuit very odd. It sort of does work, but not very effectively, and I can see why they didn't really use this circuit in any other receivers. I don't think this is used in any other Hallicrafters. I might be wrong, but I don't think it is. Band thread tuning works pretty well. I like the way they've done this. It's a spiral scale, and it's actually like a logging scale, 0 to 1000. But the dial light follows the scale down. There's a lot of carriage mechanism in there. So as you're tuning that, the carriage is moving the dial light up and down, which is kind of neat. So it's always behind the figures being read on the logging scale there. Nice idea. Use a similar mechanism, but not for the same purpose, in an SX-18, which I've worked on quite a few of those receivers. Anyway, just thought I'd do a little demonstration of the set now it's complete. What I plan on doing in the next day or two is to use the signal and spectrum analyzer, which is hiding behind this lid here. I think I'll use that to look at the IF response and check that the crystal is actually functioning exactly right. It seems to be, as far as I can by ear, but I'd like to see the response curve for that. So there we go, Hallicrafters SX-18, otherwise known as a Sky Challenger 2.
In polling, you're like, okay, here's the number, but you guys should know that these terrible things have been happening.